Welcome back to Couch Talk, everybody. I'm Joe, and I just got out of seeing the new Halloween, which isn't a sequel to the last Halloween movie done by Rob Zombie, or the last movie done prior to Rob Zombie, but it is a sequel to the last movie done by John Carpenter, which is also the first movie to ever feature Michael Myers. So they just did away with all of the other ones, and this is directly coming straight after the events of the first one. Although it's 40 years later, but they're pretty much just forgetting everything else that happened in Halloween 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and however many are of those series. So, I mean, you know, you're all here for one specific reason. You want to know if it's good. Yeah. You want to know if it's scary. No. Is that a problem? Nah, kind of, a little bit, not really. Let me explain. This movie just isn't that scary, and I think I have it pinpointed as into why it's not that scary, and that's because, just like The Predator, the first Predator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the reason why it works so well is because we didn't fucking know what the Predator was, and him picking off these soldiers in the trees and us being like, where the fuck is that coming from, was scary as shit, even though the movie was pegged an action movie. That's what made the first one work. Excuse you. Can you get down, please? And just like with Halloween, not knowing who Michael really was and seeing him for the first time was fucking terrifying. Like, you didn't know anything about the guy. You didn't know why he was doing what he was doing. You didn't know what he was like. You couldn't predict him. You know, after 15 of these movies, you can kind of predict the guy now. And I mean, I know they did away with, you know, all the other movies except for the first one, but like, you know, there's only so many times you could see the same man go around killing people before it kind of gets stale. So yeah, the movie's not that scary because you've seen it all before. You've seen him peg people to walls with a knife. You've seen him pop up in the back of a car seat. You've seen it all. And I mean, the score is revamped here a little bit to sound a lot creepier and a lot more modernized. The score is creepy as all hell. Don't get me wrong, the movie is fucking creepy. Like, it is still creepy to, like, see someone looking out into the woods and you just see Michael's figure there. But you've seen it before. I was watching an interview with John Carpenter. And the reason why I love Michael Myers the most out of all of the, like, classic, like, horror icons, like Freddy and Jason and Michael, he's my favorite because John Carpenter said this whole idea of Michael Myers came from that feeling you get when you're walking alone at night and you look into the woods and you get that feeling that, like, something's staring at you from inside the woods and you can't see it. And that's kind of like the whole, you know, idea behind Michael Myers, that he's like this ghost, like this, you know, they often referred to him as just the shape in early planning of making the first Halloween movie. And I thought that was really unique, that they didn't really know what they wanted this thing to be until like the very last couple of days, and then they, you know, bought a William Shatner mask and spray painted it white, and thus you have Michael Myers. Well, the mask at least. You've seen this all a bunch of times. So yes, it's creepy, it's not scary, but where the movie does right is in its story. Now, you know, a horror movie needs to have either two things: a really good scary premise, or if it's not going to be scary, at least have a really good story. See, I'm a fan of the Conjuring movies. They're not scary at all, but they're really well written and just like really good stories, and that's why I like them a lot, and that's why I feel like a lot of people like them. And it's the same thing with this, where it lacks in scares, it makes up for it in depth within its story and its characters. You got Laurie, she's back, and she's versing Michael. You know, you got her daughter, you got her granddaughter. This movie is really about how this family, you know, handles what it's like to, you know, be related to the person that went through this horrible nightmare with Michael Myers 40 years ago. You know, there's repercussions, you know. She is very traumatized from, you know, her encounter with him so many years ago, that she has spent her whole life training her daughter how to fend for herself, which made their relationship very strained. And then her granddaughter doesn't really know much about her except that she's the crazy lady that's afraid of a guy that's behind bars. It's a lot of that, it's a lot of character building, and I liked all that stuff. And I saw, before I went to this movie, a lot of people complaining that Laurie doesn't seem like the Laurie from the first movie. Like, she seems a lot more like hardened and like battle ready now. And it just doesn't fit. Like, it doesn't seem like the same Laurie from that movie. And I don't get that at all. I mean, yeah, she is completely different, but so was Batman as opposed to Bruce Wayne. Like, you know, they had to go through some shit that transformed them into who they became. And, you know, she's not fearless. I mean, it's not like she's like, oh, fuck Michael Myers, I'm not afraid of him, I'm going to go fight him. Like, she is still terrified. It's not like she's like this battle-hardened, like, no-emotion person. She is scared, but what makes her so badass and brave is that despite being so terrified, she still goes out into this empty house with nothing but a gun and looks for him as he's hiding in the shadows. Like, fuck that, I'd be running. I'd be in a car peeling off down the road. I would not go into a house after this dude. She's brave because she has to be to protect the one she loves, and I thought that was really good and really well done. And as much as I like the character dynamics between all three of the generations of women in the family, Laurie, the daughter, and the granddaughter, I have to say that a big problem with horror movies and me is the naiveness of it and how stupid people could be. Like, I get it, your mom, like they all think like the mom's crazy. Like, listen, he's in jail, nothing's gonna happen, there's no reason for you to be panicking this much. But even after Michael breaks out of jail and he's like on the run and she goes to tell her daughter like Michael escaped, it's finally happening, she's still like, oh, you're crazy, get out of here. It's like, at what point are you going to deem the situation dangerous that you need to, like, hide? Like, she just told you that this fucking thing is walking around town killing people. He escaped jail. And she's like, oh, you're just being crazy. Like, it's just... And it's to further progress the plot and the dynamic between Laurie and her daughter. But, like, it's so stupid. And there's a lot of moments in this movie that they try to shoehorn humor in there. And a lot of people are saying it's because Danny McBride had a hand in it and he's, like, known for comedy. But really... that's not it at all. I think a lot of it was forced because they probably had a couple of test screenings of the movie, and so it just wasn't that scary. And, I mean, if you're tense throughout a whole movie and you're just really scared, like, you're constantly preparing yourself for, like, shit to hit the fan, and then you get disappointed when it doesn't. So I think what they do is they try to lighten the mood, and, like, they have, like, a fat kid, like, throwing, like, this, like, funny little joke. So you're like, oh, that's kind of funny, and then boom, something happens. So, like, it takes you off guard and then scares the shit out of you again right after that. And it's kind of a cheap tactic. It happens a couple times. There's like, one part that I was, like, cringing at where it takes place with Michael talking to, like, a high school kid in a backyard. Like, the kid mistakes him for somebody. This isn't a spoiler or anything, but it's just the banter that happens back and forth, which you'll see when you watch the movie. It's just so, like, corny. I don't know. Shoving humor in this movie just doesn't work for me. It kind of just seemed forced to get a couple scares out of us because there just wasn't any up to this point. Now, there are some moments that are really fucking tense. The very end when Laurie is versing Michael in the house, there's a scene with a bunch of mannequins in a room, and I was like this, like, going like this, because it was a very well done scene. It was very tense, and it was literally, if you look up the definition of being on the edge of your seat, it would be me sitting on the edge of my seat, like, freaking out and having my knees above my face. There were a couple moments like that were really, really, really well done, and, I mean, the kill count in this movie is a lot higher than I thought. He kills a lot of people, and there is one scene in particular where it takes place in a bathroom stall. You see part of it in the trailer that is probably the most brutal in the movie, and it's fucked up, and it is everything I wanted. I definitely wanted to come to this movie and see Michael Myers kill people with good fashion, and you get a lot of that, so I was super satisfied. To me, this movie honestly felt a lot like Batman vs. Superman. The only thing it was missing was a scene of them both in the same frame just staring at each other, like you get in Batman vs. Superman, but you kind of get that with Laurie, like, staring at him from a window, and him, like, outside of the window, like, staring at her, but, like, it cuts back and forth between them. That's the closest moment you get to it, but honestly, like, when you see him, like, walking up with the knife and she has, like, the gun in her hand, like, I felt like I was watching Batman vs. Superman. Like, you're about to see some epic shit happen. And that's a fucking problem. I mean, this movie shouldn't feel like I'm about to watch an epic throwdown. It should be a lot more tense than that. Now, don't get me wrong, I liked the last battle between her and Michael Myers. It was a fitting conclusion, and it's, 40 years in the making. She's been training, and I think it should have ended with this type of confrontation, but the build-up to it just felt not as scary and a little bit more, like, action-heavy. Like, not that it was, like, going action route, like, but it's almost like she wasn't, like, all of her fear went away, and she was, like, getting, like, pumped up to fight him, like, and I was getting, like, pumped up. I'm like, yeah, they're about to fight, and I'm like, wait a minute. This guy's, like, the devil coming to fight her. I should still be scared that this dude's coming. She should be scared. Like, it's shifted tones a little bit, so it threw me off a little. But I love this movie for what it was. I went into it, kind of with the idea of it wasn't going to be scary just from hearing other reviews. So if you can go in and say to yourself, I'm going into this for a fitting finale to like their story arc and like just a good, well written story, then you will be pleasantly surprised. And if you just want to go in and see Michael kill a bunch of people, again, you'll be pleasantly surprised. But if you go in hoping that this is going to scare the balls out of you, you're absolutely wrong. You're not going to get that, and you have a better chance watching The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, because that movie is scary as shit. So yeah, anyway, to sum it up really quick, I thought the acting was great. I thought the story was really well done. I thought that the Michael killing a bunch of people was really well done. You could see that John Carpenter and Danny McBride and the director put a lot of care into doing Michael Myers justice. He himself was really creepy. The ending battle in the house was excellent and well done. But the movie had a little bit of shoehorned humor in there that kind of pulled me out of the experience. I wish it was a little bit more scary. And they kind of sort of did this thing where, like, they left it open-ended to have one more story. Apparently John Carpenter wanted to make 2 back-to-back, but Danny McBride was like, let's slow the brakes, because if this movie bombs and fails and we set it up for a sequel, then it's going to look stupid. But the way that the ending is filmed, and you know what I mean if you see it, like, it does kind of leave it open-ended, and then if you stay after the credits, there is a very tiny little thing. It's not a scene, but more or less a noise. So they definitely want to make at least one more. I don't know how they're going to do it, because this movie seemed like a fitting conclusion, but we'll see. I'm going to give this movie a 7.5. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you excited to see this movie? Are you disappointed that it's not a fucking 10? Are you disappointed that it is not better than the original? Are you going to see it? Have you seen it already? Let's talk about it, and as always, I'll catch you next time.